Before we begin, welcome back to Delta History. If you enjoy detailed military analysis, frontline stories, and intense battlefield breakdowns, make sure to subscribe to Delta History and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest updates from conflict zones around the world. The war in eastern Ukraine has once again revealed how quickly the battlefield can turn from calm to chaos. In one of the most dramatic incidents reported from the front line, a Russian motorcycle assault battalion moving rapidly toward a contested sector suddenly found itself trapped in a devastating Ukrainian ambush. What began as a fast-moving operation intended to reinforce Russian forward positions quickly turned into confusion, destruction, and survival under constant fire. The operation reportedly began before sunrise. Russian reconnaissance teams had identified what they believed to be weak Ukrainian defensive positions near a tree line connecting several damaged villages along the front line. Intelligence suggested that Ukrainian units in the area had rotated out after days of heavy artillery exchanges, leaving behind only light infantry elements. Russian commanders saw an opportunity to exploit speed and surprise. Instead of using armored vehicles that could easily be spotted by drones and targeted by artillery, Russian forces deployed a highly mobile motorcycle assault unit. Over the past year, motorcycle detachments have increasingly appeared on the battlefield as both sides adapt to the deadly threat posed by drones and precision strikes. Fast-moving motorcycles allow troops to travel quickly across damaged roads, avoid becoming concentrated targets, and maneuver through narrow terrain where larger vehicles struggle. As dawn approached, dozens of Russian riders accelerated across muddy paths and shattered farmland. Engines roared through the cold morning air, while troops carrying assault rifles, anti-tank weapons, and ammunition pushed toward what commanders hoped would become a breakthrough point. The plan depended entirely on speed. Russian forces hoped to strike before Ukrainian surveillance drones could identify their route. But unknown to the advancing unit, Ukrainian special reconnaissance teams had already detected unusual movement hours earlier. Thermal imaging drones operating high above the battlefield tracked Russian preparations near a staging area hidden inside a forest belt. Ukrainian operators noticed motorcycles being lined up in groups, fuel containers stacked nearby, and infantry gathering for rapid deployment. Almost immediately, elite Ukrainian units began preparing a response. Instead of immediately attacking the Russian column, Ukrainian commanders chose patience. They understood that the motorcycles would need to pass through several exposed corridors before reaching defensive lines. This created the perfect opportunity for a coordinated ambush designed not only to stop the assault, but to completely destroy the momentum of the attack. As the Russian motorcycle battalion advanced deeper into contested territory, Ukrainian drones silently followed overhead. Operators relayed live coordinates to mortar crews, anti-tank teams, and machine gun positions hidden among ruined buildings and dense vegetation. Every turn of the Russian route was carefully monitored. For several tense minutes, nothing happened. The riders continued moving at high speed, weaving through craters left by previous artillery bombardments. Dust and smoke drifted across the fields as the column stretched farther apart. Some riders reportedly believed they had successfully bypassed Ukrainian observation points. Then, the ambush began. Without warning, explosions erupted at the front of the convoy. Ukrainian mortar shells slammed directly into the lead elements, throwing dirt, debris, and motorcycles into the air. Seconds later, heavy machine gun fire burst from concealed positions on both sides of the route. Tracer rounds cut through the smoke, while drone-guided artillery began targeting the center of the Russian formation. The sudden attack shattered coordination almost instantly. Several motorcycles collided as riders attempted to avoid incoming fire. Others accelerated wildly into nearby fields, only to encounter additional Ukrainian firing positions waiting for them. The battlefield transformed into complete chaos within moments. Russian troops who had expected a rapid assault suddenly found themselves surrounded by overlapping fields of fire. Ukrainian FPV drones then entered the fight. Video footage later circulating online appeared to show explosive drones diving directly toward moving motorcycles, detonating beside riders attempting to escape the kill zone. Some drones targeted ammunition carriers, while others focused on disabling vehicles blocking the narrow escape routes. The psychological effect was enormous. Soldiers already under artillery fire now had to constantly scan the sky for incoming drones moving at terrifying speed. Communication problems quickly worsened the situation for Russian forces. Reports suggest radio interference and battlefield confusion prevented commanders from reorganizing the assault. Small groups of riders became isolated from one another. Some attempted to retreat back toward their original positions, while others pushed forward blindly, hoping to break through the ambush before Ukrainian reinforcements arrived. But Ukrainian forces had anticipated this reaction. Additional mortar strikes landed behind the Russian formation, effectively trapping many units inside the engagement zone. Sniper teams positioned near abandoned farm structures reportedly targeted dismounted troops attempting to take cover. Meanwhile, Ukrainian reconnaissance drones continuously adjusted artillery fire with deadly precision. Witnesses near the front line later described the battlefield as a scene of burning motorcycles, scattered equipment, and constant explosions echoing across the countryside. Thick, black smoke rose into the morning sky while damaged bikes and destroyed supply carriers littered the route of advance. What made the ambush particularly devastating was the level of coordination involved. Ukrainian forces combined drone surveillance, indirect artillery fire, electronic warfare, sniper positions, and FPV drone attacks into a single synchronized operation. It demonstrated how modern warfare has evolved into a battlefield dominated by rapid intelligence sharing and precision targeting rather than large armored advances alone. Russian motorcycle assault tactics had originally been designed to counter drone surveillance by reducing the visibility and predictability of troop movements. Smaller, faster units are harder to target than large armored columns. However, this incident revealed the limitations of such tactics when facing highly organized defensive networks equipped with persistent aerial reconnaissance. Military analysts observing the conflict noted that motorcycles provide speed, but almost no protection. Once detected in open terrain, riders become extremely vulnerable to artillery fragments, machine gun fire, and drone attacks. Unlike armored personnel carriers, motorcycles cannot shield troops from shrapnel or nearby explosions. In high-intensity combat zones filled with surveillance drones, mobility alone may not be enough to survive. As fighting continued throughout the day, surviving Russian troops reportedly attempted multiple evacuation efforts under heavy fire. Some wounded soldiers were carried away on remaining motorcycles, while others retreated on foot through damaged trenches and wooded areas. Ukrainian drone operators continued monitoring the battlefield long after the main engagement had ended, searching for regrouping attempts or additional reinforcements. By evening, the assault had effectively collapsed. What was intended to become a rapid Russian offensive maneuver instead turned into a costly reminder of how dangerous modern frontline warfare has become. The ambush highlighted Ukraine's growing expertise in integrating drones with traditional battlefield tactics, creating lethal engagement zones capable of stopping even fast-moving assault units. At the same time, the incident also reflected the brutal reality faced by soldiers on both sides of the conflict. Constant drone surveillance means that movement itself has become deadly. Every road, every tree line, and every ruined village may already be under observation from the sky. The battlefield no longer offers many places to hide. As the war continues, both Russia and Ukraine are constantly adapting, experimenting with new tactics, and searching for ways to survive in an environment dominated by technology, artillery, and relentless reconnaissance. But incidents like this prove one thing very clearly. Speed alone cannot guarantee victory when the enemy already knows where you are going. Thanks for watching Delta History. If you enjoyed this intense battlefield breakdown and want more military analysis, frontline reports, and war documentaries, make sure to subscribe to Delta History, leave a like, and share the video. Stay tuned for our next update.